Hello, everyone.
Oh,
Joan, did you bring a special friend?
special what?
I see Joan brought a Christmas character with her this time.
Oh, no, left at home.
Good afternoon. Good to see everyone. Joyce, hi.
Hello.
We haven't seen each other in person, but nice to see you. And Joan is she's a teddy bear.
Very merry.
Very cute. And Joe, we haven't met, but I'm Kathleen Sparrow, the new executive director of the foundation.
Good to meet you.
You might have been on the last trustee board meeting, but I was so new I don't remember anyone, but now I'm putting names and faces together and it's good to be here. And hello, Will.
Hi, Kathleen. How are you? You're muted, Kathleen.
I must have hit a button. Will, I was saying I'm on time for your meeting today. I was actually early. I was trying to
Yes, you're early. Think we almost have everyone. Rudy or Donna or Skip, who's operating this for us to go live? Just so I know who.
This is Stephanie Petruso, our virtual services manager. This is Stephanie Petruso, our virtual services manager.
Hi, we are live on YouTube. Ready to go.
We are live.
Yes, we are.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Will Shorter, Chairman of the Anne Arundel County Public Library Board of Trustees. It is Thursday, December 17th at 4:00 p.m. and I officially call this meeting to order. I will do a quick round of introductions, quorum call. The first one is Ms. Miller.
Present.
Dr. Satt. I don't see Rob Sapp on the phone on call. He might be joining us a little bit later. Miss Ellis, or is it Miss Brown?
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm officially changing my name. I have officially changed my name from Miss Brown, my maiden name, to Mrs. Ellis, my married name.
Mrs. Ellis, good to have you on the call.
Thank you.
Miss Maxwell? Barbara Maxwell? Don't see her on the call. Mr. Estep, I see him.
I'm here, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Miss Evans will not be able to join us. Miss Simona Simmons?
Present.
Thank you. I like your Christmas hat, very festive.
Thank you.
Miss X?
Did you call Belcher?
Not yet.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's completely fine. I can mark you off, so thank you. I see Miss Beck. Miss Anderson. Miss Anderson is here. Miss Baruti?
Present.
Thank you. Mr. Bless is here. Miss Cruz, I believe, has joined us.
Present.
Present. Mr. Rowland. Oh, Mr. Rowland's here. Ms. Heeman? Miss Jackie Seaman, I believe she's on the call. She might be joining us a little later. Miss Smith, I believe, is here. Jenny Lane. Oh, yep. I see her. Miss Solomon. I see Miss Solomon. Mr. Starr, I don't see him. And Miss Toomey, I believe, is here.
I'm here.
Thank you. And first off, before I entertain a motion to approve the agenda, I really want to say a special thank you to all the staff for this being our last meeting before the new year, for all of your hard work. I know that this was an unpredictable year in so many ways. So on behalf of everyone on the Board of Trustees, I really thank you for all of your hard work and diligence to make sure that we're meeting our mission and serving the residents of Anne Arundel County. So thank you. With that, I will now entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I so
Second
move.
that.
Ms. Miller motions and Mr. Estep seconds. All those in favor, please raise your hand or signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The agenda is approved. On to the approval of the minutes. If everyone had an opportunity to review the minutes, I will entertain a motion to approve them. Ms. Smith, you're muted.
I noticed that Joan was like Schrodinger's cat, both present and absent, and I'm pretty sure she was there. So you might want to fix that on the minutes.
It's the struggle of life. You don't know if you're present or absent. So, no, thank you for bringing that up. If there aren't any other amendments to our our minutes, I will entertain a motion.
I so move.
I
Second.
second.
Ms. Miller makes a motion and Ms. Smith seconds. All those in favor, please raise your hand or say aye.
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 All those opposed, raise your hand or say nay. The minutes are approved. On to the treasurer's report. If Ms. Maxwell is not on the call, would Mr. Grant like to present?
Yes, certainly, I can present.
Thank you very much, Mr. Grant, and congratulations on your 2 weeks with us now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, that's about it.
I think that's good. We didn't scare you away, so that makes me sleep better at night.
No, I'm fine.
Shorter, excuse me, just a moment.
Uh-huh.
Ms. Maxwell did contact me, and she's got the correct link now, so she is going to be joining us momentarily.
Okay, let's do this, if it's all right. Mr. Grant and Ms. Maxwell can give the report, but we can skip to the foundation report just for time.
Great.
So if Ms. Miller and Ms. Beck is ready, they can give their report.
Joan, do you want me to do the first four and you do the rest, or how do we want to do this? Joan, can you unmute?
You were unmuted, Miss Joan. Can someone, probably the host Stephanie, can you possibly help Miss Beck unmute herself?
Oh, there's Jackie.
I try. Just a moment.
Thank you.
Well, I can give it if Joan has further problems.
Why won't you start, Joyce, and then Miss Beck can join in afterwards.
Right, that's fine. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, the FY21 annual fund has brought in $72,805 in gifts, which is an increase of $27,000 since November from 204 donors, with the average donation being $258.17. FY21 Beyond Your Expectations campaign income received from pledge payments, $53,826. Since our last meeting, as you know, Kathleen Sparrow started with us on November 23rd, our executive director of the foundation. Additionally, we're pleased to announce that Julie Kaiser Ball was promoted to the annual fund manager position in the foundation. We are currently seeking a new team member to add in 2021 in the development specialist role. We will share more information on that as it unfolds. In addition to the grants the foundation has made to the library in FY21, over $113,000, the foundation has also launched our Grateful Customer program titled We Love the Library, which will engage grateful cardholders to share their stories about the library and to inspire giving. As the program develops, we'll provide updates. Joan, do you have the rest of it, or are you okay now?
Yes, I'm on.
Okay, go ahead.
Let me just add to what you said about the new situation with Kathleen Sparrow coming on. I would like to congratulate her, and I would like to congratulate Julie Kaiser Ball for her promotion. And let me just add about Julie, you know, she held it together while we were in transition, trying to find a new director for the foundation. Not an easy thing to keep all of the balls in the air. And I salute Julie. I think we all owe her a debt. Going forward, we love the library event. We love the library, which will engage grateful cardholders to share their stories about the library, and the annual fund letter was mailed to many friends of the library. Thank you for those of you who have already participated in giving to the annual fund this year. Your generosity is appreciated. On the heels of the $100 for 100 Years campaign, the library and the foundation are working on celebrating the centennial anniversary of the library's founding, which kicks off on January 8th, 2021. From the foundation board, Karen Smith and Linda Green serve on the 100th anniversary committee. Karen is the co-chair with Christine Feldman, Director of Marketing and Communication. Also, something new that Kathleen has initiated, and this will be, I guess, the first report, called the Mission Moment. As you know, the hotspots were an item funded by philanthropy, and we're pleased to share one customer's comment. Thanks to the library, I can FaceTime once a week with my granddaughter in New Jersey. This is my only opportunity to see her during the pandemic. Thank you. Even during this trying year, our donors have made a significant difference in many people's lives. We continue to be grateful that our community is helping us enrich lives through philanthropy. That's the foundation report.
Can I add one thing? Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to add one thing. I'd like to remind all of the board members to please consider contributing to the annual giving. It really doesn't look good on our part if we have board members who don't contribute. We'd like to have 100% participation. So please give what you can to the annual giving for our foundation. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is that separate from the $100 for the 100 years? Or is that, I don't quite understand.
Yes.
Two separate things that
Yes.
to donate to. Okay.
Yes.
Will, may I, Mr. Shorter, may I make a comment? Thank you. Just to
Yes, of course.
add, the annual fund is our end of year campaign for 2020, which would be part of your tax gift. I'm sorry, if you would like to make a gift by the end of the year, you would do that by the end of the year, or the 2020 gift for your current taxes. The $100 for 100 campaign you could do now, or you could do it anytime in the next year. It's part of our 100th anniversary celebration. We're hoping to do something similar to what we did with the bricks at the new Bush Library. We won't be doing bricks, but we're going to encourage individuals, when they give $100, they can decide where they would like their name placed. So they get to actually place their name in the library of their choosing. So we haven't worked out all the kinks on that yet, but it's a really exciting project to showcase all of our libraries in our system. I hope that answered your question, Mrs. Smith.
Thank you.
Ms. Sparrow, just to highlight, there is a comment by Mr. Estep in the chat asking for a link. Could you or Julie send that link if one is available for the annual giving?
Would you like me to put it in the chat, or would you like me just to email it to you at your addresses, at your email addresses?
Yeah,
I would say email it to us, I think, so everyone can have it in their records.
I will do that tomorrow, if that's okay.
That's okay. Thank you. Do you have any other comments you would like to share, Ms. Barrow?
No, I would encourage you to consider a gift in 2020, because the CARES Act allows individuals who don't itemize to deduct up to an additional, what they call an above the line gift of $300. And, you know, that's not something that has occurred. You know, the deductions have changed through the years. But this year, because of the CARES Act, you get to add that on. So it's a really good year to make a gift. Hopefully they'll continue that in the future, but right now it's only for 2020. And again, thank you very much for considering a gift to the foundation. And thank you to Joyce for reminding us. The 100% giving is really important. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And also, I would like to highlight what Ms. Sparrow and Ms. Miller said about our participation in this. I think it's really important as leaders in our system that we give what we can, especially during these challenging times, because we've seen how important leadership is and really stepping up and doing all we can during these trying times. So please consider to give what you can. With that, does anybody have any questions for Ms. Miller, Ms. Beck, or Ms. Sparrow?
Nope.
Hearing none, thank you for your report. We'll move back to the treasurer's report. Is Ms. Maxwell on the call? Oh, I see Ms. Maxwell. Ms. Maxwell and Mr. Grant. You're muted, Ms. Maxwell.
Thank you. As you know, we have a new Chief Financial Officer that just started on December 7th, Cedric Grant. He will be presenting the report.
Thank you, Ms. Maxwell. I don't know if you guys had a chance to look over the financials as they were sent out in your packet. Very briefly, the report went from our fiscal year from July through November the 30th. We should be roughly at about 42% spent and received in terms of our funding for this particular fiscal year. On the revenue side of our $28.6 million budget, we spent roughly $12.1 million, or we've received roughly $12.1 million. So we're right at the 42% mark as of now overall. So we're doing well there. Some of our self-generated revenues are like collections and fines. Obviously, those numbers are low due to our situation and the pandemic now. But overall, our spending our revenue collection has been very good. On the expenditure side, without the encumbrances through November 30th, we're at 40%. So most of the line items look pretty good. We have encumbrances in our library materials extended out through the end of the fiscal year. No major variance in those particular line items. So overall, the finances at this point look very good.
Does anyone have any questions? Cedric, thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Maxwell.
Thank you, Ms. Maxwell. Mr. Grant, are there any additional comments or questions? Hearing none, thank you for your report. Moving on to staff reports, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Hollerback to kick it off with the overview of programming and outreach.
Hi, everyone. Today we have Katie Zawadny here with us, and she is going to do a short presentation just telling you all some of the basics about the services that we provide at the library. They're always changing, and we have lots of different things that you may not use, but maybe your neighbors or friends would use, the students in our county use. And so Katie does a great job sharing these resources. She does this a lot as part of her job. So we asked her to come and do it for us today. So Katie. Oh, you're muted. Yeah, there you go.
There we go. Sorry about that. So I'm going to talk really fast. So feel free to reach back out if you have any questions about something that I mentioned. But my name is Katie Zawadny. I'm the Programming and Outreach Librarian for Anne Arundel County. And I'm going to be talking about our services and programs under the Tailored Services lens. So, as we know, one of the bullet points under this strategic goal area is that we recognize and celebrate the diversity of community residents and their needs by providing access to a variety of high quality services and programs. So today I'll be talking about these services and programs through the lens of digital equity, education, and healthy and sustainable communities. These are all goals of the Urban Library Council, and since we're a member, I thought this would be a really great way to kind of break up our services. So we're going to start off with digital equity. Number one, the most important thing you can do with the library is get a library card. This is the gateway to so many of our resources. You can find more information on our website about how to apply for the library card, but I really wanted to point out that you can check out up to 99 items for 3 weeks, and we no longer charge fees on children's materials, thanks to you, the board, and our county executive. Right now, you can also sign up for a library card online, which is a really great way to get access to our resources while we can't have access to our physical buildings. So you just sign up online and you can get access right away for our ebooks and our databases. We also offer library technology, and a lot of what I'm going to talk about next is available at our branches. So of course, not available right now this second. But we do offer computers for the public to use. They can access the internet and Microsoft Office and all of our online materials using them. We also offer printing, scanning, and faxing. Both printing and faxing are at a fee, but scanning is free. And these are really great services, both for our small business community and our students. We also offer Wi-Fi access both within our buildings and extended now into our parking lots, so families can come and sit in their car and do their homework using our Wi-Fi. We offer ADA stations, which are accessibility stations, so there's screen enlargement and screen readers using JAWS. We also have 3D printers, which are really awesome because they help expose our community to technology they may not have access to otherwise. They're also really wonderful for small businesses. You can do rapid prototyping on products before you send it out for mass production. And I actually have type 1 diabetes, and I was able to get this little thing printed. I don't know if you can see it. It covers one of my devices, so it helps the adhesive stick better. So there's really cool practical applications to them as well. We also have self-checkout, which is an app you can download onto your phone so you can check out books right from our stacks. We also have maker spaces and a memory lab. So there's a maker space at the Bush Annapolis Library as well as at the Odenton Library, and our memory lab is also hosted at the Odenton Library. We have lots of non-traditional circulating materials, including the Wi-Fi hotspots we were talking about earlier, and the Chromebook kits, which are a Chromebook and a Wi-Fi hotspot. We also offer C-Pen readers, which is a little device you pull across text and it reads it out loud to you. And we have CAC readers, which are a device that military personnel can use to access their different systems using our public computers. We also offer lots of digital resources, including our ebooks. There's also streaming movies and streaming music, which is all free with your library card. Now, these aren't related to digital equity, but they're too fun to pass over. We also check out ukuleles and London Town passes and fishing poles. Next up is education. So starting with early literacy, we offer story times most days of the week, and we use the Every Child Ready to Read framework from the American Library Association to do our story times. During our story times, we teach parents the 5 early literacy skills: talking, singing, reading, writing, and playing. This way they can do this education at home when they're not at the library. We also offer bilingual story times and sensory story times for our special populations. We have the 1,000 Books Before Kindergarten program, where we are challenging all Anne Arundel County families to read 1,000 books before kindergarten. We have some really cute PSAs available on our website or on our YouTube, so make sure to check those out later. We also offer Playaway Launchpads, which are early learning tablets that are preloaded and do not require the use of Wi-Fi. We have Vox books, which are picture books, and they have little recordings on the side so you can read the book and hear it at the same time. Those were funded initially by our foundation. We also do lots of outreach to preschools within our community. It's a great way for us to reach our kids who may not be able to physically visit us at our libraries. We have lots of partners in this work, including the Early Childhood Coalition and the local interagency coordinating council. For our school-age children, we have lots of resources on our website. We just created a Learning at Home page to support families who are doing virtual learning. We have Educator resources, which really works to connect our materials to the curriculum at the school system and also provide different resources like our Educator library card for our educators. There's also homeschool resources on there as well. We have the school assignment form, which is a form teachers can fill out to alert us to upcoming assignments. The more that we know, the faster we know, the better we can prepare for students coming in to ask for help. We also have the Homework Center on our website, which has lots of databases and supports for our students. I really wanted to point out Help Now, powered by BrainFuse, which offers free online tutoring from noon to midnight most days of the week. There's also a writing lab, so you can submit papers and get edits and suggestions back, as well as other virtual study tools like digital flashcards. We have lots of resources for our young learners, so that's the K-5 group. And we have the Testing and Education Reference Center, which is really great because it offers practice tests for the SATs and the GREs and AP tests and the ASVAB, but also for professional licensing and certification tests. And I really have to mention our Gale databases because I love them. They're really wonderful ways to get a wide view of your research topic. They have scholarly articles, but also newspaper articles, radio recordings, video, and photos. So you can just really get that contextual understanding of your topic. Our materials management department has been doing an amazing job of providing supports for our students and families. They've been working with the school system to find ways to support their curriculum. So they've been purchasing a lot of physical and digital materials to do that. We also have a school outreach committee, which is comprised of one staff member from each branch. And we meet twice a year and we talk about different school outreach topics. We have guest visitors so we can learn more about the schools in our community, and they are charged with connecting with their local schools. So we do outreach like visiting classrooms to do database demos, we do book talks, and we also visit special events like literacy nights and back to school nights. And of course, we have lots of partners in this work, including the public school system, Fort Meade, Head Start, and the Maryland STEM Festival. To support all of this, we have the SAIL card, which is a student library card. This is a virtual library card using the student number. With this account, they can check out up to 3 physical items with no late fees, but they can also use our online resources. This is a really wonderful resource for our students because they don't need to come visit the library to get a library card. If a teacher wants to talk about how to access ebooks or use a database in the classroom, they know all of their students automatically have a library card. It's just really about reducing that barrier to access. We also offer Educator library cards. So these are specially for educators in Anne Arundel County. We do not have late fees on the materials they check out, and they can check out for 6 weeks instead of the usual 3. And you can read more about what's required to get that on our website. Of course, we have Summer at Your Library, which I'm sure many of you are very familiar with. This is one of the ways that we help combat the summer slide for when students aren't in school. We do weekly programming, we have a reading challenge, and of course we have lots of fun t-shirts, and you get a sneak peek on this slide of what the t-shirt design looks like this year. We work very closely with the school system to design the Summer at Your Library programming and challenge, so we can help connect to their curriculum over the summer. We also work with different community groups, including the Department of Recreation and Parks and the Boys and Girls Club, to get our program into their program. We also offer lifelong learning. So we have lots of really fun programs for all ages, including Instant Pot cooking. We have book discussions, movie discussions, all sorts of fun stuff. And we offer professional development through our databases, including lynda.com and Udemy. We have language learning through Mango Languages and Rosetta Stone. And of course, we have Canopy, which is free streaming of documentaries, classic films, award-winning films, foreign films, and well, there's one more, and I've forgotten what it is, but that's okay. There's also a kids collection that you can take a look at as well. Some of our partners in this work include the community college. We had a really awesome program with the Department of Natural Resources, and of course, NASA. Next, I'm going to talk a little bit about how we support healthy and sustainable communities. So we're in a pandemic, so we've been working really hard to pivot our services so that we are safe and still effective. As you know, we are now in curbside pickup, so we offer our materials and also print jobs to be picked up at our curbside. We have reference services, so you can call us, email us, or chat us to get help on homework or to find a phone number or whatever it is you might need. We are also offering Reader's Advisory. I know some of our branches are handing out bookmarks with lots of ideas of what to read. We have virtual programs, which I talked about earlier, and we do that for all ages. Right now, all of our story times are on Facebook, and we're doing lots of programming with Zoom, but we're also offering take and makes. This is a really great opportunity for those who are experiencing screen burnout. These are activity packets that have all the materials you need and instructions to do something fun. So it might be a craft for the preschoolers, but it also might be a self-care packet with a mug and a mug cake recipe. We also have lots of resources and programs connected to health and wellness. We have the Library by Mail program, which is something that county residents can sign up for if they're homebound, and they can get library materials through the mail. And we have a really wonderful staff at the Glen Burnie Library who handles this program. We are also working on making our libraries dementia friendly. So we are partnering with the Department of Health to get our staff trained on how to be dementia friendly.
Uh-oh, I wonder if we lost Katie.
I think we did.
Yeah, I think so.
Thought it was just me.
Oh,
Yeah, I thought it was frozen at first.
I think she's almost done. So she didn't message me. She was having internet problems before she started.
She's still on.
Yeah. Well, why don't we wait and see if she comes back? I think that's most of it. That was a lot that she shared with us. Every time I hear that, I'm just amazed over and over again by how much we offer to everyone. So I think she was almost at the end. You got most of it.
Would you like to wrap anything up, Ms. Holbeck?
Really, the only other thing I have is if you all have any questions about anything that we offer, if she didn't go into a lot of detail, because of course she had to do it really quickly, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to give you more information or point you in the right direction to the person who knows more than I do about the details about all of these services.
No, thank you very much, and thank you for all the hard work the outreach department does for our library system, and I know that's led by Becky Hess, if I'm not mistaken. So thank you very much for all of your hard work. Do you have any other reports to give, Kathy?
So I do. I just have two other updates that I want to share.
Okay.
One of them is a new database that we just launched, and some of you might be familiar with Help Now Brain Fuse, which is our live homework help. And we just launched something called Job Now, which is also through Brain Fuse and it's through Help Now. So what you can do is you get online tools for resumes, for interviewing, and for job coaching. It has templates that people can use for their cover letters and resumes. And so I think that's going to be really helpful to the people in our community who are struggling with job loss right now. So if you haven't had a chance, take a look at that. And the live tutors are just really, really helpful. And it goes till 11 o'clock at night. So we wouldn't be able to help, but they can log on and get that help. The other thing I just wanted to share is that we do a survey of reference questions that are asked at the branch. And we used to do it quarterly, but now we've started to do it every single day. But I was really excited to see this come through our November stats for our reference questions, because many of our stats are down because we aren't open in the way we usually are. But our November reference stats were good. So to just give you a little bit of a trend, January of 2018, and I'll round them for ease, it was 31,000. October of 2019, 30,000. January of 2020, 33,000. So in the low 30,000s. November of 2020, 31,000. So we were really excited because we are still answering reference questions at the level that we were before the pandemic. Now, one of the big differences is we added our new live chat reference service where people can, if you pull up the website, a little window pops up and the library staff will help you. And that I think has made a big difference in reaching the people who aren't able to come in. But we're just really pleased that those numbers are still high and we are still reaching people and giving them the help that they need. And a lot of those questions are pretty significant reference questions. So I'm pretty excited to get those questions. So, thank you. And Katie messaged me that she lost her internet. I'm really sorry.
I'm sorry, but thank her for it and for all of her hard work, and express our gratitude to the staff again for their persistence and their flexibility during all this, because it really takes a lot of flexibility to really respond to our customers. Is there anything else?
So she said she can call in using her phone. Do you think we gave you enough, or do you want her to call?
I think we have a pretty good overview. And if anyone has any questions for us, that we can follow up via email and we can go from there. Does anyone have any questions for Ms. Holbach?
Will, it's Kathy Belcher. I want to ask Kathy, is there any way we can turn off that chat window when you're on the website?
If you just say, no, thank you, I don't need help, it should go away.
But every time I go from one screen to another, it keeps popping up.
I don't know, but I'll find out for you.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Any other questions or comments for Ms. Hollerbeck? Hearing none, thank you. I'm going to move to Ms. Feldman and then Mr. Rodillo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to give folks a bit of information about events that are going to be happening before our next meeting in relation to the 100th anniversary. So our 100th anniversary, as you know, is January 8th, 2021. And starting January 4th, we will have banners all over downtown Annapolis marking the occasion, which is really exciting. We'll have it for the entire month. And then I just learned as we were on this call that Glen Burnie also has a number of light posts that the county controls, and we're going to be able to display these same banners, hopefully, in that location as well sometime later in the year. So we'll be getting promotion for our celebration in both Annapolis and in Glen Burnie. In addition to the banners that go up on January 4th, on January 8th, we have a number of events planned. Most will be remote, unfortunately, but we'll still have a lot of fun. The first one being a special birthday story time at 10:30 on Facebook Live, which will be a lot of fun. Skip will be giving a message via Facebook Live a little bit later in the morning to our customers. And then we will be launching a special series of videos of people sharing their library stories. We are going to be taping those stories, some of them next week. And then we're asking our customers to share their special library memories with us. And we'll be launching that on January 8th. We'll do 6 to 8 right after we start on January 8th, about 1 a week. And then we'll launch to once a month after those first 8 are done with some of our customer stories. So really exciting stuff that you'll see on social media, as well as we'll email our customers those stories as well. So I'm happy to answer any questions about the celebration. There's a lot that's still being planned, but those are some of the highlights that will be happening in early January. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Rodella? We see, yes, the new Riviera Beach project.
Mr. Chairman, yes, sir. We've got a quick update on this. We had our first construction meeting on November 30th, and the notice to proceed was issued that same day with a start date of December 7th. So that officially starts the clock on the calendar for this project. 486 calendar days to substantial completion of the project. And that, of course, is exclusive of weather delays. So we're looking somewhere around April-ish or spring of 2022 for occupancy of the building. So we're estimating a grand opening sometime in the summer of 2022. Wow. Of course, that is all strictly dependent on weather delays. This project is a little bit easier, a little bit more straightforward than the Annapolis project, but there is quite a bit more ground preparation that has to take place, and that is sensitive to weather. So fingers crossed, we have a relatively dry winter, relatively dry spring, and we can get this project under roof in fairly short order and proceed with the build out of it. But we're looking good. We're looking on track. There's just one permit that we're waiting to get, and as soon as that comes in, we will be knocking the old building down and putting up the new one. That concludes my report, sir. Does anyone have any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Rodella. Are there any questions? Hearing none, thank you very much. And Mr. Auld, I will defer to you to give your CEO report.
Thank you, Mr. Shorter, and hello, everyone. It's great to see you. First of all, I want to say how thrilled I am that we have our new executive leadership team formed with our new people on board, Kathleen Sparrow and Cedric Grant. The 7 of us now make up a really cohesive team, and we're learning from one another. Very, very enthusiastic about the upcoming year. We're definitely looking forward to 2021 as a hopefully much better year than 2020 has been. It's been extremely difficult for our staff throughout the library system this whole year. There's just, for all kinds of reasons, as you can imagine, there's lots of anxieties and stress related to delivering service in a pandemic. Our library system has probably delivered more service than any library system in the state throughout this pandemic. I visited a few branches today, and when I was up at Brooklyn Park, I was told by Holly Dyes, one of the staff members there, that they regularly get people coming in from Baltimore County or Harford County or Prince George's, just very happy with what they're able to get. Holly was also expressing disappointment that we had to close down our appointments for this month. And that was a decision made with great reluctance, but one that when Kathy talked with me about it, and when we talked previously with the executive leadership team, we want to keep providing service as much as possible. But given this tremendous surge that we're experiencing right now in our county, in our state, we just felt that it was time to just take a little breather and back away from it. We do expect the day after the Martin Luther King holiday to begin appointments again. And God willing, we will see in the coming year a return to our full panoply of services. So personally, I appreciate the Board of Trustees, all of you give selflessly of your time and energy. You're thinking on things, you're helping guide this library system, you're directing the policies and governance of this system. And it's very important and very valuable. And I in no way take it lightly ever. So with that, I wanted to mention just two other things. One, when Katie Zawadny was talking about all the different services, one of the things that she mentioned is the Canopy streaming video service. And I don't know how many of you listen to WYPR, but today on Midday with Tom Hall, he was interviewing Ann Hornaday. Ms. Hornaday is a media critic, film critic, arts critic for the Washington Post. And one of the callers today said that it's really difficult to find movies that just don't cost an arm and a leg. And when you're having to sign up for and subscribe to so many different services, Amazon, Apple, Hulu, all of these different services, it just makes it difficult. So Ms. Hornaday mentioned Canopy. She said she knows that lots of the library systems in the Baltimore region and the Washington region do have Canopy, which makes free movies available to people. So it's just another indicator of ways that we are truly meeting a need of people and becoming the great equalizer, the great democratic small letter D equalizer for our nation and certainly for our county. So I just thought that was interesting. I thought I would mention that. And I really appreciate what Katie had to share today. I'm sorry she got cut off, but you got a really good sense of it. And it's just absolutely amazing when you stop and think of all the things that are made available to the 500,000 people that live in our county. The other thing I wanted to mention is that I had a little flurry of activity the last few days related to whether we were going to bring forward the idea to eliminate overdue fines. And I wanted to just talk to you a little bit about the discussion we had at the Budget Committee meeting that took place last week. And I think it was a good decision to pull this back now. I also want to say that in the future, Will and I talked yesterday, and I realized that us sending out the agenda the Wednesday before and then having multiple reports sort of coming in piecemeal, it makes it difficult for all of you to keep everything together. So we're going to do our best. I'm going to do my best to get all of our reports to you by that Wednesday before, so you don't have things trickling in for a whole week leading into the meeting. It gives you a better chance to study those things. I know you take that seriously to review those things. So back to the issue of overdues. Roughly 3 weeks ago, I called and talked with Chris Trumbauer. He is the acting budget officer in the county administration. And I said, if we were to eliminate overdue fines completely, if our board would want to do that, it seems to me that that would really benefit all the people who are suffering in the midst of this pandemic, in the midst of all the job losses and just all the economic downturn difficulties. Mr. Trumbauer had advised people in the county executive's cabinet that this coming fiscal year is going to be quite frugal, and we should be thinking of any supplemental budgets that would be geared to helping people get through the pandemic and get through this recession that we're in. So given that overdue fines place a tremendous burden on the people at the lowest income level, and we know that well, you all know all of the reasons that we went ahead and did away with fines on children and teens. We just think it would be good to eliminate them just across the board. We are concerned, and Ms. Maxwell and I talked about this as well, that the timing right now is maybe not the best. The county executive is seeing a lot of heat from decisions he's having to make, and right now isn't the time to sort of push another issue there. So I do still have an outstanding request to Mr. Trumbauer from this morning, just saying, do you have a sense of where the county executive would be should we decide we want to eliminate overdue fines? So I expect that we would bring this back to you at the January 21st meeting. That also will be the meeting when you adopt the budget, the budget request that we send over to the county. That request is due January 25th. And Cedric Grant, our new CFO, he was able to take part in a really good briefing from the budget office today, just to get all of the dates and particulars of the whole budget process. This was done for all county department heads as well as budget people around the entire county. So, so with that in mind, we're not doing overdues today. Keep it in mind. We'll have more information for you later. With that, Mr. Chair, my report is concluded, and I'm happy to take questions.
Thank you, Mr. Auld. And are there any questions from any of the trustees?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Ms. Toomey.
I actually had feedback I wanted to give on the appointments that we sent the email out about, how we were going to be stopping those for the month. I have a neighbor who uses those appointments every week. She's an older woman. It's just her and her dog. And that's something that she looks forward to every week. And she was really impressed with the fact that somebody called her and told her that they were going to be stopping and that she could come in early before that happened. And knowing her and what the library does for her socially and just her emotional well-being, I was really impressed with that there was the forethought and the effort to let people know, hey, come in so that we can, get this taken care of before we have to take a break. So I just wanted to give you the positive feedback that I had received from somebody in the community.
I really appreciate hearing that, Ms. Toomey. I really do. And I know our staff appreciate that too. We hate to not be providing the service. There's so many people who depend on us. I talked with Ms. Hollerback a little earlier today. We're going to see where things are once we go into the new year. So that first week of January, we're going to see if the surge has started to abate a little bit. We don't want to be confusing to the public, but I think that if we can open any earlier than January 19th, we would aim to do that. Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Hearing none. Thank you very much, Mr. Auld. And then we will move to our new business. So the first item is the first reading of the meeting room policy by Ms. Holderback.
Okay, hi everyone again. You should have in your packet 2 copies of our meeting room policy. One is our current policy marked up to show the changes that I'm recommending or asking for, and then a clean copy where all of those changes have been made. There are basically 2 changes that I'm recommending. One is something that we talked about a while ago, but we held on to it because it was kind of a small change and we didn't want to change the whole policy that we have out there for the small change. And that was requiring that anyone booking the meeting room is 18 years old or older. And I think that that's just a responsibility issue. If some students from the local high school wanted to use it, we want to have an adult who can be in the room and taking some responsibility. The other piece has to do with charging for the meeting room. So right now, we don't charge if it's a library organization, a government organization, or a nonprofit or not-for-profit. So community organization, a book club, any of our community partners. We do charge a nominal fee for for-profit organizations. And so our meeting rooms are very much in demand, and we sometimes have to turn things down, like groups meet, maybe not even do library programs because these commercial groups are using the room. And so I looked into how much we were making from the meeting room, and I found out that our line item is $20,000 a year, which to me is actually, in the scheme of our budget, not a large amount of money. And booking these meeting rooms, staff time to book them, to collect the money, finance department to process the money, it takes a lot of time. And I don't think that the reward is really that great. So what I would like to recommend is that we limit the use of the meeting rooms to library groups, nonprofit, government organizations, and that would be our partners. And it would not be a big financial hit for us, but it would let us do more in our community by enabling these nonprofits that are helping the community to have more time in these meeting rooms. We will make exceptions for community partners that are for-profit. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes there's a really great group. Maybe it's a company that's teaching GED classes and we have a deal with them and we want to be able to use the room for that because it fits our mission. We could make an exception for that. So sometimes we would still work with groups that are for-profit, but we would do it as a partnership as opposed to charging them for their rooms. So there are some other systems in Maryland that do it this way. Howard County does it this way, and DC Public does it this way. So that's my recommendation. This is first reading. You have 30 days, and I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Are there any questions?
I have one question.
Ms. Miller?
Kathy, my question is this: do you think there'll be a lot of fallout from those groups who've previously been using, that are for profit, that have been using the meeting rooms? Do you think we're going to get some negative, letters to the editor and feedback that way? I think it's a great idea what you're proposing. I'm not against it. I'm entirely in favor of it. I just wondered about how much negativity would come from the community about it.
I don't expect that there would be a lot. I guess I don't know for sure. If a company was really upset, we would talk to them and help them find other meeting room space in the community. There are other places that are available and we would help them find those for sure. Sometimes we might talk to them and tell them that, talk to them about how they wanted to use the room. Is this a kind of a library partnership that we can work out? So I think that would be another way to, appease them. If they were upset, we certainly could work through that. And if they are our partners, we had a good idea that we could say, well, we don't charge for this anymore, and this is educational, so we're going to, set this up for you, and you could make it like a good idea to me. So I don't expect a lot. I'm sure there might be some people that might think about it, but we would help them find alternative meeting space. If you think of any other questions, please feel free to reach out.
Yes, and this is on first reader, so at the next meeting, we will approve this policy. So please feel free to reach out to Ms. Hollerback if you have any questions or concerns. Moving on to the second action item, which is motion to transfer $50,000 from the FICA in order to contract services for a compensation and classification study. Mr. Auld?
Thank you, Mr. Shorter. And if I may, could I ask everybody to go ahead and mute if your microphone is not muted? I'm picking up some feedback from some of those where the microphone isn't muted. Thank you so much. Roughly in the past 4 to 6 weeks, I became aware of some significant discrepancies between the pay of our staff and the pay of our peers around Maryland. In a number of cases, I would say at least 10 positions that I've looked at, I've seen real places where the market is so far above where we are that I actually became a little bit alarmed about this. It's been a while since we've done a compensation and classification study, and we don't like to do this without knowing we can fund the any discrepancies. But without the pure professional information, we don't really know exactly how much of an issue it is and how difficult it is. And so therefore, I wanted to see if we could go ahead and get a study done. We learned that it would probably cost between $30,000 and $50,000. And in discussing this with the budget office, I found that we do have money available in this FICA line that just won't be used by the end of the year. And therefore, within good stewardship of our appropriated budget, we can move that money from the FICA line into the professional services line and be able to conduct this study and develop the information to know what we need to do to help our staff be in a better place, in a more competitive position, so that they're being compensated fairly. We want to do that very much, and so I'm requesting that you authorize this. I'm available for questions. And go ahead and unmute when you're ready to ask a question. Thank you.
Are there any questions for Mr. Auld? Ms. Toomey, and then Mr. Estep, and then let me just check. Okay, those two, and then if anyone else has questions, we can follow suit.
Thank you. I do have a question about the price that you stated, the $30,000 to $50,000 to have a, the check the market and see what the, how we match up to other positions in the state. Just having been in human resources for a while, that's something that, we do every once in a while is, we make sure that our employees are making what other people are making in similar positions. When you got the quote of $30,000 to $50,000 for that, what encompasses the pricing that they gave you?
Okay, so I didn't get a quote for a study for us. What I did is I know that both Harford County and Prince George's County have done studies in the past couple of years. The Prince George's study was done for $30,000, but theirs was only a compensation study. They have they're similar to us. They have a similar budget, more staff, more branches. But that was just for compensation. And I just felt that probably for $50,000, we would be able to cover the rest of it. And that's all I asked our budget office to check into. If you feel that it's likely to cost more than that, actually, I guess I would like to do it this way. I'd like us to, if the board approves this request, I'd like us to send out our RFP to secure quotes. If it turns out that we need more money to do it, then I would come back to the board. While I first would check to make sure we have funding that we can transfer to cover the cost, but I'm pretty sure we can do it within the 50.
Sorry, is somebody trying to speak?
Ms. Beck,
did you have a follow-up, Ms. Toomey?
Yes, I guess when you say a study, what information are you expecting to be given to you? I'm having a lot of feedback. I don't know if other people are too. I guess my question is, it sounds very high to me, but I also am in this field, and it's something that in human resources, we oftentimes share that information for free for each other, because it helps them, it helps us. So I guess it may be that I'm not familiar with something that's, so I guess that's more what I'm asking is, what information are you expecting to receive, and for what we're paying?
Okay.
Skip.
I thought you thought it was going to be.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
Skip,
Yes, Ms. Beck.
would this compensation study cover all grades or specific areas like executive positions, or does it is it the whole ball game?
It's the whole ball game. And let me expand upon that to answer Ms. Toomey's question and your question, Ms. Beck. So essentially what we would do is we would look at, we would have the company determine the appropriate peer organizations to compare with. Typically, like in the one that I was looking at recently from Harford County, there were, we participated in that. So we provided the salary range and the actual salaries for all positions to the Harford County study. So that's really what we would be looking at. We would look at several libraries plus county governments, because some of our positions are more, you look at more comparables within agencies other than libraries. So for example, maintenance staff or custodial staff, we're going to find more comparables perhaps with the Anne Arundel County school system or Anne Arundel County government, and so on. So we would have roughly 8 to 10, and actually I'm going to ask Mr. Grant to weigh in on this if I leave anything out that he can think of. We would look to roughly 8 to 10 comparable organizations. We would get from them the salary of, well, first of all, we would determine all of our positions. I believe we have about 30 to 50 positions. We would match those up with those other county governments. We would get the actual salaries for every staff member in those organizations and have that sent over through a spreadsheet. You know, I don't conduct these studies, so I'm just telling you my best understanding of this. We would make sure that that it was a position to position, true comparable type position, and then get the averages and the range and the average for each position. And then we would compare that with our staff and look at that. We would be looking at, for example, years of service of our staff compared with the years of service of staff members in those other organizations. So it's a highly detailed study that would let us know the compensation, let us know where we stand, where our staff stand, and give us benchmarks. And then just to back this up a second, we did a study in 2006 before I got here. It took us many years to be able to implement
Yes, I know.
that study. And in 2013, we did sort of a refresh on that 2006 study and did some actual implementation. At the time, I think we tried to make sure we brought up everybody who was below they were below 80% of the average. We brought them up to 80%. I would be looking to develop this study a little differently this time and try to get people a little closer up to the full market rather than just up to within 80%. So Ms. Toomey and Ms. Beck, I hope that gives you enough background. And Mr. Grant, is there anything that I have left out that you can think of that we would want to shed light on?
No, that's fine. I think that you hit on all the points, but to Ms. Toomey's point, we don't know the exact cost right now. So you could very well be, it could be less than the 50,000 that we are projected, and it might very well fit into a lesser range, but we just have to do the RFP just to see. We just thought that the 50,000 at this point was a good mark for us to start with. We thought that was at the ceiling of what we would need or whatever. So we thought that was just a good start for us right at this point.
I have a question. At this time,
I was actually waiting in line. I know I've already been bumped once.
Sorry.
Yeah, Miss Smith.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes, Mr. Eastep.
Skip, I have a couple of questions. Number one, it seems like you've done some anecdotal research. You sort of tipped it to at the beginning there. So you have some idea that employees are being not compensated to the level of their peers is the impression I got off the bat, right? So that's correct. So what I'm looking at are two things, actually three. When are we losing people to these municipalities that are producing the better rates at this point, I guess would be one question. Number two, when do we expect that the budgetary impact will hit us? I know you mentioned that it was not an immediate impact from the 2006 study. When do you think we'll see that line item? And number three, what do you think that line item will be from a dollars and cents standpoint? Thanks.
Okay, would you repeat your first question? I should have written them down, sorry.
Are we losing people?
Okay, thank you.
To these municipalities?
Okay, it's not like we have a big exodus. We do, we have a natural turnover of staff who find better positions. At one point, just a few years ago, we had a number of our key leaders in our library system moving to go to the school system, for example. Partly that was because they had a different type schedule that worked better for their family life, but they were definitely paying better. So the bottom line of this is that, and actually when we discussed this a little bit in the budget committee, Tim Van Fleet is our manager at the Linthicum Library, and he pointed out that while our salaries aren't necessarily the best in the world, there are so many good things about working in this library system. We have a great system of benefits. We have really great leave policies. We try to be supportive of staff. So we don't really, it's a good place to work, even where the salaries are. So my main concern is to try to get our salaries to the right place. Let me give you one example. We have one of our department heads who has been with us for, I believe, roughly somewhere between 5 or 6 or 7 years. And I noticed a job ad for the same position over in Charles County. Even after several years of pay increases for our department head, and I'm talking not in the executive leadership team, I'm talking about one of our more mid-level departments. That job is being advertised at a starting salary of, it's around $3,000 or $4,000 higher than this person is making after several years with us. So the other thing I would say that ties into this is that for the past couple of years, as part of our supplemental budget, we have included a request to adjust our library associate salary ranges. That's where we think we have some of the biggest discrepancies, but we haven't been able to get that funded yet. So anyway, if you could give me your second and third question, please, again.
What do you think the year will be that will have the budgetary impact, and what do you think that ballpark figure will be of how much we'll have in the increased compensation?
Okay. It's going to be a complete swag, a complete wild guess. First of all, we will know within the next, the county is doing its own study, maybe for the first time in 15 or 20 years. The county study is going to take them until next fall to finalize and get the results from their study. It's a very similar type study that they are doing. I think that because we have so many fewer positions, it's a much less complex project. I think we will know the results of the study by, let's just say, April, May, or June. I think that at that point in time, it will be too late to put into a budget request for the year that starts July 1st. So we would be looking this time next year to create a supplemental budget request to put in that would be in the FY23 budget. That would be the year it would hit us, and we might have to put it in as maybe a 2-year phase in. So any way you look at it, it's probably going to be 2 to 4 years before we can see the results of this. And then on the guess as to how much this could be, I think it could be anywhere from $250,000 to $1 or $1.5 million, or even up to $2 million. I think $2 million is on the way high side, but let's just say $500,000 to $1 million. That's just a wild guess, and maybe everybody can remember that when we actually see what the figure is when we see the study.
Thanks, Skip. Appreciate it.
Yes, you're welcome.
Well, that answers
Ms.
one.
Smith?
Yeah. Okay, wait. Wrong way. That answers one of my questions, which was, this might not be the year we should be asking for higher salaries because the county's not doing well financially during the pandemic. But if it's not coming out for that long, then that's a moot point. My other question is, since you shared all that information with, was it Hartford County? Does it mean that we could gather some of that information without spending $30,000?
That's actually a great question, and I want to see what we can do with that. We have their summary report, which is about 20 pages, and so Cedric and I and Cindy Thorne will review that to see what we can get. I've also been trying to get the report from Prince George's, even though we didn't participate in that one. If we can get those, we have some highly professional people in our own human resources department. It's possible we can do a good bit of this ourselves. And being a person who would like to not spend money unless we have to, I would see what we can do there and see, for one thing, whether we can get anything out of that would help us. Those studies are 1 to 2 years old now, but we can extrapolate from that. And then I might also ask for the assistance of Ms. Toomey, since she's also an HR professional, and it's possible that she could help us figure this out. Bottom line, possibly we can get some good information from that. I don't think we're going to get everything we need, but maybe we don't even have to spend the 30. Maybe the range of the cost would be much less than that.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Shorter, I have a question, please.
Ms. Maxwell, then Ms. Simmons, I believe you have a question afterwards.
Yes,
Ms.
observation.
Maxwell.
Yep.
Ms. Maxwell?
Yes. Oh, my. Yes. Skip, you said that the county already initiated and bid the study that they're doing.
Yes. Yes.
And so when are they going to start the work under that particular study?
I believe they have started it.
And when do you think it's going to be over? Or be completed?
It'll be over roughly next October.
Next October. To me, there would be a real benefit in having our study coincide with their study, so we're matching apples and apples as far as the time period. I mean, if you have a study that's a year old or 2 years old, and then another study is, then we're asking in the same, basically, organization. I mean, we're part of the county. I mean, we're part of it anyway. I'm concerned about the timing of it, because we are in, as was mentioned earlier, we're not in normal times. And right now we don't know, we have no idea how the economies are going to come out from this pandemic. It could go multiple different directions. I'm concerned about, I mean, has any thought been given to the library using the same people that the county is using, to having costs benefits, having timing benefits, having a mutual examination of this? Do you see, and it seems to me that would be a preferable thing to have happen if we can work together.
Thank you, Ms. Maxwell. I spoke with the acting personnel officer for the county, and as well as the person at the county who is actually in charge of the study. First of all, if the board authorizes this transfer, then the timing of our study is approximately the same as the timing of their study. We would start it in the winter, probably finish it in the spring or summer. We're only a couple of months away from theirs. We would be conducting the study at exactly the same time. Their study is well underway and has, it has been very defined. They've done their RFP. They've launched. I talked with them about the idea that, well, could we just pay additional money to the county to be able to take part in it? And really, that didn't seem like the best way to go. We certainly would send our RFP to that company, as well as the company that did the Hartford and Prince George's studies. And then we would evaluate and try to select the best vendor at the best cost.
Okay, yeah, I was hoping for economies of scale and all validity of comparisons. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
Ms. Simmons?
I just wanted to note, and this may be a consideration already, ALA sometimes maintains data about salaries and surveys, and they may happen to have a reservoir of regional studies, salary studies. So I just want to throw that out.
I appreciate that, Ms. Simmons. I'm not sure what they would have. We certainly can look to them. I know in the past when we have tried to understand the diversity of our workforce, we have gone to ALA, to their statistics, and did comparisons that way to understand overall kind of the world of librarians and so on. I think for what we are talking about, we want to have a study that specifically compares us with directly comparable organizations.
Right.
And so we're going to want up-to-date real-time data, and I'm not sure that ALA will have that, but we certainly can consider it.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to approve the transfer for the compensation study.
I so move.
Ms. Miller moves. Is there a second? Mr. Bless seconds. Is there any final discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, the motion is agreed to. In our agenda, I believe, with I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Ms. Smith, do you motion to adjourn? Hearing no objection, we are adjourned until January. Have a great holidays, everyone.
Stay safe, everybody.
And thank
Happy
you.
holidays, everybody. Take care.
Thank you.
Okay. Merry,
Thank you.
happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Bye-bye.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Well, take care.
Okay. Good to see you, Barbara and Sandra. I
Yes.
guess we're the last
Good to
ones
see-
here. And
Yes, good to see you all.
thank you. Happy